Spectacular news, friends. Wizards of the Coast has given us a free preview card for Modern Horizons 2. And, to add to the excitement, artist Yeong-Hao Han was kind enough to chat with me about the card art and to share behind-the-scenes material. Prepare yourself for a Han appreciation video. All of the artwork that I feature today is his. Welcome to Cultic Cube, where we cube religiously. We make you better at cube, and make your cube better. Modern Horizons 2 is shaping up to be a home run for cube designers, just as was its predecessor. We are 2 years out from Modern Horizons 1, and I am still running 10 of its cards in my unpowered vintage cube and 22 cards in my master's cube. And rather remarkably, the cubes share only one non-land card from MH1. The set provides an array of tools for cubes of all kinds, and a key component of the set's success lies in the modality that many of its cards offer. WotC knows what we cube designers like, and for our free preview, they have given us yet another card that offers us choices. In this case, Wizards has taken another shot at making a Naturalize that is main deckable, and one that is, by extension, cube-worthy. Naturalize's effect has been around since Alpha, in the form of its older sibling, Disenchant. We have known since the beginning of Magic that the ability to interact with artifacts and enchantments is a necessity. Nevertheless, given the relatively few targets that Disenchant effects will find in most environments, such cards have often been relegated to sideboards in both constructed and limited decks. Over the years, Wizards has tried many techniques to nudge Naturalize into the realm of viability. They have made it still cheaper, as in Nature's Claim. They have given it additional narrow upside, as in Sundering Growth, and they have made it easier to cast, as in MH1's Nature's Chant. Another approach is to give the card other utility, should the Disenchant mode prove undesirable in a match. Hence, Wilt can replace itself, Return to Nature can attack a graveyard, Sprouting Renewal can be traded for a token, and so on. Another strategy for making Disenchant more viable is to staple it onto a creature. It hasn't been all that many years since even gold cards, such as Trigon Predator and Kasali Pride Mage, were widely considered to be cube staples. Acidic Slime is a classic feature of toolbox strategies. The ooze's stats are laughable, but it always has a target to blow up. M15's Reclamation Sage was a huge boon to cube designers. And we've seen other spins on the Disenchant creature, such as Thrashing Brontodon, who trades and enters the battlefield ability for beef. Our preview card wades into this milieu, offering yet another spin on the Disenchant with legs. So without further ado, I present Foundation Breaker. Foundation Breaker is an uncommon elemental creature. It's a 2/2 for 3 and a green, with the text: when Foundation Breaker enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. And importantly, it may be evoked for 1 and a green. The upshot of this is that the card can function either as a sorcery speed Naturalize, or as an overcosted Reclamation Sage. The card has the usual advantages of cards we know and love that have evoke, such as Mole Drifter. The evoke cost offers flexibility in how the card is played. The card may be blinked, or reanimated to rebuy its ETB, and evoking causes enters the battlefield and death triggers. And of course, green is traditionally quite good at creature combo, especially as the color is so effective at finding creatures, using cards such as Worldly Tutor and Natural Order. Foundation Breaker seems most at home in toolbox decks, such as those built around Birthing Pod. I very much appreciate the choices that this card affords. For me, the card is less desirable than Reclamation Sage, and better than Acidic Slime. The fact that Foundation Smasher is an uncommon is key for peasant environments. The card has an uphill battle, making its way into cubes that are not rarity restricted, as WotC has blessed us with some great disenchants on legs lately. Gemraiser is a fine tool, although I'm still a little miffed that humans cannot serve as mutate targets. And Commander 21 has Pest Infestation, which is a heck of a card. It is scalable, and importantly, it does not actually require a target in order to be cast. In preparation for this preview, I conducted an informal survey of you all's favorite latter-day takes on Disenchant. you mentioned a whole array of neat cards, which often have upsides relevant to your particular environments. The headline is that Pest Infestation has won many admirers in quite a brief space of time. Ikoria's Wilt has many fans, and Selesny's old standby Kasali Pride Mage, as well as newcomer Knight of Autumn, are popular. We will take up Foundation Breaker's art in just a moment. Allow me first to mention that Cultic Cube is supported by you. We have a Patreon community with all sorts of perks. I have affiliate relationships with TCG Player, Inked Gaming, and Amazon. I appreciate that you sit through ads on YouTube. Those who listen to the Chateau Cube podcast know that I donate all ad revenue to charity. Thank you for your support. Let us turn now to Foundation Breaker's evocative art by Yeong-Hao Han. I love the spare, restrained palette and loose brushwork of the image. The elemental creature masterfully renders nature's reconquest of works of human vanity. I think of it as the crumbling statue of Shelley's sonnet Ozymandias shambling to life. The scene is moody, and while the vast elemental is looming and dynamic, it feels as if the creature moves in solitude through a quiet landscape. I am obsessed with the background forest. It is charmingly flat, a wash of watercolor trees whose outlines hang on wispily suggested trunks. I am honored that Yeong-Hao Han consented to discuss his work with me. It was such a delight to learn about his vision, process, and inspirations. He has a long and iconic history with magic, having about 150 pieces to his credit since 2011. I will summarize the dialogue with Yeong-Hao for this video, but he has suggested that he might be willing to sit down by the fireside at the Chateau Cube podcast, so fingers crossed we can make that conversation happen in the near future. Yeong-Hao was given a broad remit for Foundation Breaker from Modern Horizons 2 art director Cynthia Shepard. Typically, artists are given a location where the card should be set, but Yeong-Hao had complete liberty in this case. He decided early on that his elemental would occupy a loosely Bavarian landscape, which would showcase the castles and vague, foreboding forests of Brothers Grimm fairy tales. Yeong-Hao was kind enough to provide us with the 2 black and white concept sketches that he sent to Wizards. A point of inspiration for Yeong-Hao as he developed this image was the 2005 video game Shadow of the Colossus, made by Japan Studio for the Sony PlayStation 2. Yeong-Hao did a wonderful job producing his own version of the game's gorgeous vistas, which are bereft of life, except where dotted with unfathomable, hulking, hermit-like monsters. When it came to designing the forest in the background, Yeong-Hao wanted to channel the flat and fanciful aesthetic of a children's storybook. After having begun the commission, he happened across a volume of illustrations by German artist Ira Schleutermann von Langeweide, who goes by the pen name Iraville. Yeong-Hao decided to pay homage to Iraville by evoking her signature watercolor trees, which she renders almost in silhouette, with starkly contrasting trunks. Let's look at Foundation Breaker one last time, and I'll point out a couple of other interesting remarks Yeong-Hao made. Yeong-Hao played Magic in his youth, beginning with 4th edition, and he is delighted to work on a game with which he has personal and nostalgic connection. He has had extremely positive experiences with Wizards art directors, and he appreciates the unusual creative freedom that Wizards affords him. Thanks so much to Yeong-Hao Han for his insight, and for his many contributions to the game we love. Many thanks to Wizards of the Coast for the free preview, and for the amazing set. Let's keep hanging out and chatting Cube.